Lauren, was it really necessary for Randy Orton to fucking RKO every heel on the Monday Night Raw roster?
No.
Look, okay, so it was a fun opening to Monday Night Raw. We got to see everybody. It was Randy Orton Appreciation Night. Randy Orton comes to the ring. We're celebrating him. We got to see a little bit of Ezekiel. We got to see a little Kevin Owens. We got to see Seth Rollins do what Seth Rollins does. And it was a good opening that led us to a 8-man tag match, something that I feel like we haven't seen in a while in the main event picture of Monday Night Raw. So that, I'm all good with that, right? And just kind of speaking on the guys that were in the match, I still don't know where I stand on Ezekiel yet.
I like him.
Do you, though? Or do you like the
gimmick
position that he's put in? Because right now, it still feels like, to me, Kevin Owens is pushing the Ezekiel narrative and elevating it to a level that makes it worthy of the main event. Is Ezekiel a main event talent if he's not in the ring with Kevin Owens?
No.
Well, that's a problem then, right? Because they're pushing him as main event. He was in the main event of Monday Night Raw, which is a good push for him. And hopefully it gets there. But just eye test watching Ezekiel wrestle, he's slow moving to me. He is a bigger guy, but he doesn't feel like he's quite at the level of those other big names that were in the ring. Just notes on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes just looks fucking happy to be in WWE.
Yeah.
It just, like, the more I go back and think about the last few times I saw him in AEW, he looked displaced. And I kept doing the thing like Cody Rhodes needs to turn heel. The crowd has turned on Cody Rhodes. And I think that, he kind of found his place back in WWE. I think he likes being a baby face.
Yeah.
It's what Cody likes. So let's let Cody be Cody. Cody's doing his thing. He seems to be happy, and that's kind of a good thing to see. Let's talk about the finish of that 8-man tag team match. Because the entire time I'm sitting there and I'm talking about, like, how are they going to finish this? Who's going to get the pin? Is it Kevin Owens going to pin Ezekiel? I thought no way, shape, or form, even though it's Randy Orton Appreciation Night, I thought there was no way Randy Orton gets the finish, right? And we get the goofiest possible finish ever, right? I hate finishes to matches that are the fucking everybody gets a turn, or we're going to hit our finisher on every person and it's super choreographed. And like the RKO is one of those moves that it happens out of nowhere.
Like a one and done. Yeah,
it happens out of nowhere. It tends to finish the guy off. It's a big moment. And what we got in this match was predictable RKOs to every guy. The last one being the worst. I don't know if it was Jimmy or Jay coming off the ropes, but just diving with your head forward so that he can RKO you. I thought that was a goofy finish to what was a pretty good match.
Yeah.
And a pretty exciting, Monday Night Raw is in this weird flux right now. Without a major title, they got to do these kind of goofy, gimmicky things like 8-man tag matches, or make it just like it's all about the Usos and Rkbro, which I'm fine. Like, let's make the tag team titles mean something. But that finish just felt, and the more I watch this, Lauren, this is all perfect for the Usos, right? Because this is 3 weeks in a row now that Rkbro have gotten the upper hand.
Yeah.
And typically the way WWE books is whoever goes into the pay-per-view with the upper hand, they're not coming out with the upper hand. So it looks like the days are numbered for Rkbro.
No.
It looks like the Usos are probably going to walk out of WrestleMania Backlash with the Tag Team Unified Championships. I hate the name WrestleMania Backlash. They used to call this pay-per-view Backlash. And they've thrown in the branding and they've thrown in the logo of WrestleMania. And I don't like it. I'll tell you why. Because WrestleMania felt like a high of high. Mm-hmm. Right? It's the pinnacle of the wrestling season per se. If there's a wrestling season, WrestleMania is the Super Bowl, and it's the only sport in the world where then the season just starts again. Right? And the first game of the season isn't called the Super Bowl Backlash. and so to me, it diminishes this pay-per-view, because this pay-per-view, as you start to see it kind of play out and we see the matches come together, this isn't WrestleMania, right? Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, that's not WrestleMania.
No.
But that's okay. You have to have the highest of highs to have the lows of lows to get that emotional investment into WrestleMania. But let's just call this Backlash. Let's not use all the same branding. It's not in Dallas again.
True.
So what's with the big star and shit like that? Like, we all understand, we're able to comprehend that coming out of WrestleMania, this is the Backlash. You don't need to call it WrestleMania Backlash. It feels lazy. It feels like lazy marketing. Like, I don't love using the same logo over. I don't like it. Backlash should be its own thing. It should have its own logo. And even the way like the Backlash sits under the logo doesn't even look like perfectly. I'm a graphics guy. I'm big on graphics. It doesn't look right. I don't like the way that looks.
All right.
Moving on. What is next for Bianca Belair after she basically smashed Sonya Deville 3 times in a row?
Okay.
I mean, she whooped her ass 3 times in a row, which in I did too. One of the best booked matches I've seen in a long time that made use of like a little bit of comic relief, a little bit of abuse of authority, and just like not what you expected. I said when she got counted out, I go real quickly, I said, what if she restarts the match?
You did say that.
And then she restarted the match and I said, oh, no. What if she does this again?
Yeah.
And she did it again. I thought, oh, fuck, this is great. They're booking this great. So where does that lead us though with Bianca Belair? I don't think this is over. I think this is actually far from over. I think, and I like this. I like what they're doing with Sonya Deville. Like, I want to see more of Bianca Belair and Sonya Deville. Now that Becky Lynch is tied up in another storyline, this opens the way for Bianca Belair to get in some other matches with other people. And I think Sonya Deville is the ultimate heel for Bianca Belair. And I think this can lead to Sonya Deville getting out of that management position. I think, like we've kept saying, like she's flirting. This is the story they were trying to tell with Naomi, but it didn't make sense because Naomi didn't have a title. So why was Sonya Deville picking on Naomi?
True.
It makes more sense because Bianca Belair has a title. So that makes sense why Sonya Deville would be picking on Bianca Belair. Did you know, like, I didn't realize this. And I was watching Pat McAfee and I saw this and I remember hearing about this, but this was kind of in the period of time where I wasn't watching wrestling. Mm-hmm. Did you know Sonya Deville, someone broke into her house, zip tied her, and they had plans to kill her.
No, what the fuck?
So yeah, she woke up 2020, August of 2020. I guess she lived with Mandy Rose. They lived in the same house.
Yeah.
I believe. I'm going off of a news report I watched. I heard some of it on Pat McAfee, and then I watched a news report on it that I remember hearing about this, but not placing that it was Sonya Deville. Okay. So someone like a stalker broke into the house, had zip ties and all this equipment, and was going to kill her.
But what happened?
She got away.
How?
Obviously. I don't remember. Maybe the dog or something. She got away. Somehow she got out, got away, got free of the thing. They arrested the guy. He admitted to my plan was to kill her.
Oh
and then later on, she went on to like Instagram and found where she had hundreds of messages from this guy.
Oh shit. Cause like he had never answered. She never answered him back.
I guess. I mean, I'm sure some of them get sent into like a side folder, like a spam folder. And then all of a sudden you go pull it up and you're like, holy shit, this has been happening. But that's fucking scary, right? Like that's wild. That's
crazy that people can like get that sort of access to them.
Fucking internet, man. You know the internet is ridiculous.
Just and know where you at.
And then, so like I guess I didn't realize, and this is pure assumption, maybe that's why she isn't like 100% wrestling. She went through all this shit and she had to kind of re-get into the business. I also saw that she said she loves acting. And she has a big background in acting. Uh-huh. So you should watch the interview. Real good interview with her and Pat McAfee.
Oh, she was on Pat McAfee?
She was awesome.
Oh, fuck yeah. You know I like to do that.
So she said that filled kind of the acting side was being the general manager because she gets to be on the microphone every week. Yeah. But it also filled the wrestling side because she does get to be a part-time performer.
Yeah.
So
which is probably kind of fun. Like you get the best of both worlds. Why not? Right?
Yeah, definitely. But I
like her as a manager.
That was fucking wild to me.
That's real fun. I'm like kind of still a little bit in shock.
Yeah, like that was crazy. It's like what was the Kim Kardashian got like tied up and put in the bathtub and shit like that. It's wild, that stuff. I mean, I'm not going to play the conspiracy game. I don't know if she did or didn't. Allegedly shit happens. But like, that's fucking scary.
I think the Sonya Deville shit is probably real. Like I'm for sure it's real, but.
To me, that's weird. And this is kind of a side tangent. But like, I don't understand the female point of view on these things. I don't walk around in fear of like people being able to do that kind of thing to me. And I guess from a female's perspective, like you have to always have a certain amount of fear that like,
well, yeah, I mean,
you're in danger.
I mean, I think I just don't think that because like, if not, I'd probably just be like, what's that? I mean, I don't like the dark period, so I don't want to go outside in the dark, but yeah, that's crazy.
All right. So moving on. We're getting...
shit just got dark.
Yeah, it did get dark, right? Speaking of dark here,
all right.
It looks like we're getting a Finn Balor Damian Priest sequel. So who's excited for a Finn Balor and Damian Priest sequel that doesn't feature the United States title? Like, it's weird, right? We go through all this stuff, and I get it. We were in a roundabout way working a way to get Theory a belt and elevate him, but it's like we've worked our way back to a feud that's Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Don't know if you caught it on Monday Night Raw. Edge and Damian Priest claimed something about The Undertaker, that they're better or bigger or more important than The Undertaker. Weird thing to throw in there is does The Undertaker have ties to this group? Is there a chance that The Undertaker could be in some form or fashion a part of this thing with Edge? Like, how big would that fucking be if it's revealed behind the scenes that like Undertaker is a part of this thing and still a part of WWE? That's wild to me that that's even a possibility.
I mean, he alluded to something,
right? Notes on, I thought their entrance was weird. That platform that they, so the new WWE stage, while I love the giant screen, and I get for like setup purposes, it's probably so much easier than the old like raised up stage with all these different lights and screens. It doesn't lend itself to really unique entrances. Used to guys could, like Cody Rhodes could come up from the bottom of the stage, or Edge could come. Like now we're resorting to like guys on a platform, and I just imagine in my head there's a guy on the other side of that thing with a rope, and he's pulling them out to the ring.
Are you sure it's not like remote controlled, like like an RC car? Like
I don't know. It just feels like it's just simple to like have a guy in the front just like going like.
Yeah, well, I just imagine that like secretly when you're there, you just hear like. As the car's going.
This Edge and Finn Balor thing is interesting. They really love that purple black light thing. Like they're shining it on their faces every fucking chance it feels to me, and I told you this, like WWE went to some kind of technology convention and like a guy was like, I've got something to fucking show you, Vince.
I liked Damien's medieval like prostitute type thing he had on. He looked like he was like a medieval like
corset on or something.
Corset, yes.
Oh, that's weird. I don't think I noticed that. The only cool thing I think that's going to come out of this is hopefully, we get a tag team match between AJ Styles and Finn Balor versus Edge and Damian Priest. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, it seems like a fucking mess of what's going on. Like no real rhyme or reason why these guys are fighting. They're calling Judgment Day on Finn Balor, but what the fuck did Finn do? What the fuck did he do? So he beat Damian Priest, and all of a sudden he's owed like some kind of retribution. Fuck out of here with that. And then last but not least, I have here, who had the better return between Mustafa Ali and Asuka? So I asked you this question. I think last night, and you were quick to pull the trigger on Asuka. It's Asuka, right? It's Asuka. And I said, well, no, slow down. I said, don't think who you like more.
Yeah.
Really take a second and comprehend who had the better return. Because so we got the Miz and Theory together in the ring for a Miz TV segment, which the chemistry between those two guys is great. They work together. If they wanted a mentor for Theory, the Miz is probably that guy. Or if they want to turn Theory face at some point, the Miz is a great guy to put him against. They had great chemistry. But then we got Mustafa Ali coming in. And Mustafa Ali, to me, is one of those guys. He's a great wrestler, great in the ring, technician, does all the flippy things, but he's missing something. Like he doesn't have that element that makes me go, I'm interested in what Ali's got to do. And I did think it was cool that they played into the whole disgruntled employee thing, where they went after the like, I thought you still work here. The Miz is good at that kind of thing.
Definitely.
He played into that well. So we get the match between The Miz and Mustafa. Good match, solid match. Both guys look good. Mustafa comes out with a win. Got no problem there. But then as he's walking to the back, Ciampa comes out of nowhere and attacks him.
Yeah.
So where does that play into this? And like, so what is the build here? If we're just playing fantasy booker, are we headed toward a triple threat match at Backlash between Ciampa, Mustafa, and Theory? Is it a fatal four-way match between Miz, Theory? Is it going to be a tag team? It can't be a tag team because there's three heels in this. I don't know. Like, I'm confused by what the purpose was of Ciampa just coming out of nowhere and attacking him.
I have no idea either.
I mean, it kind of felt like punishment almost. Like, hey, you want to talk shit behind the scenes? Here, take a shot for no reason from Ciampa coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. But
that was Monday Night Raw in a nutshell. It wasn't, like I said, coming out of WrestleMania, I don't love the WrestleMania Backlash branding to me. It lends itself to exposing how big of a dip Backlash is going to be. Because at this point in time, unless you read the dirt sheets, they pre-tape Raw this week, so lots of people know what happened already. I chose to abstain from that.
Yeah.
They haven't started a Roman Reigns feud, right? We thought it was Shinsuke Nakamura. Doesn't look like it's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura. So we got, 1 to 2 weeks to build up Roman Reigns for Backlash. The big thing that we're selling here is the unification of the tag team titles. Cool. I'm all in. I like that. No problem there. Looks like we got Bianca Belair versus Sonya Deville on Monday Night Raw, so that's not going to be a thing. We're getting Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair again. Excuse me, while I yawn for a second. That's not working. It's time for Bayley to come back. Like Bayley, if Bayley doesn't show up and interrupt that match, SmackDown is we're getting into a position now where SmackDown is what Monday Night Raw used to be. Not enough star power there. And they're banking on things the way they banked on Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw before. They're banking on Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey to sell a feud that most people just were not interested in.
I feel like WrestleMania told them enough. Like, nobody really liked it.
Exactly. I mean, that was to me too, right?
Being there, it was quiet as fuck when they were wrestling. Except for when her boobie popped out, but I missed it.
But no, I tried to tell somebody that. Like, I tried to tell somebody on the internet, I said, they were like, man, you must not have watched WrestleMania. I was like, motherfucker, I was there. I was
there, bitch.
That was by far on Saturday night, there was no energy. Like, people, for 90% of the match, people were looking up at a fight or something that was happening in the stands. Crazy.
I'd still like to know what was going on.
But like, there wasn't a ton of attention on the ring. It was just bad placement maybe, but also just Ronda Rousey's
between the two.
Ronda Rousey's not a babyface. I actually, the last couple of weeks, I've thought Charlotte has done an extremely good job of the heel, like of working as the heel. Yeah. But I just don't think Ronda Rousey, the chemistry between the two.
She doesn't reciprocate it well at all.
Exactly. The chemistry between the two doesn't work.
You'd have to have somebody with like a uber super crazy. I mean, I don't even know who you could put her with. That's a good question.
All right, let's move into my second.
Step in the ring, if you ready, let's go. Ay, casual wrestling community show. You already know, talking WWE. Keep it rolling and hosted by Notorious Nerdy D. Don't show that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit him with a figure 4 leg lock, power driver, or clothesline. We bringing that heat like for show, but you should already